Well, it was good to finish off a weekend. And hey, Tyson. Good to finish off a weekend, and sweep. Anytime you sweep somebody, it's a tremendous feeling. And I thought all weekend our guys played really well and capped it off today. These two guys next to me obviously had big days for us, and it was nice to see us swing the bats and make John Whittle happy that we ruled somebody today. Who was it that asked me that question yesterday? Was it you, John? I don't remember. Anyway, it was good to get a lot of guys in the game today. I kind of wish that kid would have made a good throw across the field so we could have got Caleb Jones and Roman Kimball in the game in the ninth inning. But, we had agreed to the 10-run rule, so the game ended with that play. But that's not to take anything away from the way that we played overall. I thought we swung the bats extremely well. I thought Jake McCoy threw well. I took him out of the game because of pitch count. He gave up the 3-run homer in the second inning, and then the rest of the inning he dominated. But the other 3 innings, he get the first 2 guys out and then let a guy get on base, and so that drove his pitch count up. And so his pitch count was almost 80 pitches, which was an average of 20 pitches a game. So, it's the next lesson that he has to learn is to, have a killer instinct and finish it off an inning so that he keeps his pitch count down and allows him to pitch longer. And we're probably going to need him to come back on 1 day less rest next weekend against Clemson. So that was another reason why I decided to take him out there and not push it too much for his recovery. So anyways, good win, and you can ask these boys whatever you'd like. Just don't ask Will about his call third strike.
Tip, you had 4 hits today. Just how confident are you feeling? And, is it kind of one of those things that really gives you a lot of encouragement going forward?
Yeah, I felt good. Just ready for my name to be called and take advantage of the opportunity.
I guess for both of you guys, the offense kind of came alive today. What was it about, I guess, today that just let the bats go?
Yeah, I feel like we were really aggressive, had a great approach, and we were hitting the balls, all over the place, especially in the first inning. And we were just on attack, ready to rock and roll.
Yeah, back on what he said, Monty, we've been going over it. We hitting balls hard all week, this week, last week, and they're just starting to fall. So we're gonna keep doing what we're doing. I think we're heading on a good path. So.
Ryan, a couple for you. 1, can you take us through the home run swing? And 2, how'd you feel behind the plate, and what was your thought on the pitching staff, just from your perspective back there?
The home run swing, it was good. The swings previously, I knew I was out front a little bit. I talked to Monty, he told me to stay back on it, so I did that. And then the pitching staff, they work really hard. They've been Coach Rooney's been great. He's been teaching great stuff, and I like what he does. He gets the pitchers going, and Jake McCoy came out, did really good, threw a lot of strikes, and so, yeah.
Yeah, kind of going off that, guys, the defense, again, was phenomenal today. I don't think you guys had an error out there. Can you guys just speak to what has been working so well for you guys defensively?
I feel like in the infield, coming to get the ball, attacking the ball, kind of same mindset for offense, attacking. And I feel like, preparation is key, so we've been preparing every game, every day, day in and day out, started in the fall. So, we're always prepared.
For either of you guys, whoever wants to take it, what does the salute to service Sunday mean to y'all? I know Coach Mainieri has a history with the military appreciation stuff, but this is new for y'all's program. What does that mean to y'all to be able to do that?
I think I really like it. My grandpa was actually in the military, so I think it's really cool. Bring awareness to it, and I really like it. I think we should keep doing it. I think it should be a tradition from here and the rest of Carolina. So I like it a lot.
Yeah, I love it. Military men and women serving, in places we don't even talk about or we don't even know, and they're putting their lives on the line for us. Just to play baseball or just to be citizens.
Any questions for play? All right, we'll let them go.
Chris.
Thank you.
I might just add, when you asked about the defense, how about those diving plays in the outfield by Jackson and Ethan Petrie, and Ryan caught so well. The whole team played great defense all weekend, I thought.
Paul, you mentioned the first couple of games and then the midweek that you'd like to see the team hit better, but the atmosphere, the weather might have had something to do with it. Just how relieving was it to see the guys not only hit well today, but hit a few out the park?
Well, I thought we really started swinging the bats a lot better at Winthrop that day, and then the next day as well. But the weather was just so cold, it was hard to hit balls out of the park. And then today it warmed up a little bit, and obviously balls carried, but it carried for both teams. I couldn't help but think about that question you asked me the other day about the, working counts and so forth. We made a first pitch out, and then the Rocky comes up and he swings at the first pitch. It's in the dirt, and then hits the next one about 425 feet. So I was wondering what you were thinking when that happened. Well, we could have drawn a walk instead. But it's a mindset. I learned the game from my father many years ago, and when you show that you believe in players, it's amazing what they will do in response to that. And one way to show that you believe in the player is to let him swing the bat and not, and trust that he knows what he's doing up there, and he's going to have a good, aggressive, confident attitude. And I think when you tie their hands behind their back and don't let them swing, it's not really showing a lot of confidence in them. So that's just the way I was raised in the game, and it's what I believe in, and it's worked for the most part throughout my career.
You mentioned offhand there that you're going to need Jake to come back a day early next week. Does that officially rule out SQ for Clemson? And then also, do you have a starter in mind for Tuesday's midweek yet?
No, it doesn't rule out SQ at all. But we probably will give him a couple of extra days to get ready. That would be the plan. And Jackson Susie will start on Tuesday.
Paula Bakes got the start today. Is it just something that you wanted to get him to try? Are you looking at maybe switching that spot with Talmadge just because his offense maybe hasn't been there? Is it just early in the year still trying to figure things out?
Yeah, no, Talmadge is the number one guy, and he's done a terrific job. And the hits haven't fallen for him that much, but I believe he's going to hit well. He's banged up a little bit too. It's a tough position. He's been hit by foul tips and hit by pitches, and he needs a little bit of a blow. So, yeah, Ryan caught today, but Coffer will be catching on Tuesday. So, we're going to – and you saw we used Gavin Brayland as well. So that's a position that you just can't have too much depth in, I remember one year when I was coaching at LSU right at the end of the season, critical last two series, we went through 3 catchers in 2 days. And, it can happen very quickly with a foul tip or, whatever. So, yeah, we're gonna keep working all 4 guys, but Talmadge is the number one guy. Bake, I was happy for Bake. So he had a couple bats earlier where he didn't have real good swings, as you mentioned. He was out in front of him a little bit. I challenged him before that next one, and he got that one pretty good, I think.
The whole season, your guys have been just barreling up the ball, and a lot of times it's just not falling down.
Yeah.
How much have you and Monty talked to them about if you guys just keep hitting the ball hard, like it's going to drop at some point?
Yeah, baseball is a tough sport, and the toughest part of the sport is hitting. And if you look around the country, most of the scores are low-scoring games this time of year because of the cold conditions, and usually pitching's ahead of hitting anyway. And we don't get exhibition games, we don't get a spring training, so you jump right into it against other teams, and it's hard enough to hit, and then when the ball doesn't carry well, and then if it doesn't leave the ballpark, your chances of it going at somebody, even though you hit it hard, are increased. It's hard to have bad luck when it goes over the fence, but when it doesn't go over the fence, the chances are it could be at somebody or they make a good play on you. So the important thing was just for the kids to take an aggressive approach and not lose their confidence. And I think I felt all along that we had a good lineup and that the hitting would come eventually. And both Monty and I constantly talked to the hitters about, being aggressive, being confident, and believing that things will happen. And, if you have the talent, then it will. I like the way we're swinging the bat, actually. it was nice today, like somebody asked, to see some balls leave the park and get some hits and doubles and triples and things like that, and do some base running, and that's the game. I love the game when that's happening, especially when it's happening for us.
I think there were 5 changes from the starting lineup today from yesterday, just to see some guys. But if you could also address specifically Hollins going in there at first and what you saw from him, and what kind of made what was the thought process with Kazmer coming out for today?
Yeah, it was not a reflection on Kaz at all. He's been playing great defense, but he's been scuffling a little bit at the plate. And I wanted him to have a day where he could just work in the cages, work in pregame batting practice. We tried to change something today. And he had the best batting practice he's had all year, actually squared up 99% of the balls that were thrown to him. And actually that's probably an exaggeration, because that means he would have had to have 100 pitches, right? He didn't take 100 swings. But he really had a good batting practice. And sometimes it's good to just not have the pressure on you to play in the game and realize the things that you need to work on. And I think he's going to hit, and he's been playing terrific defense. Yesterday he was Gold Glover out there. But also the idea was to give Tipp a game. Tipp's a veteran. He's a very good shortstop. I think he's a really good hitter. He led our team in hitting in the fall. He hasn't had a real good preseason. But I thought, to give him a full game and play a position that he was used to playing, and maybe it would help his comfort level a little bit, And obviously he swung the bat terrific today. With regard to Hollins, he's been working so hard, and he's really a terrific defensive first baseman. And I just thought, if I'm going to ask him to play defense late in games as the season goes on, getting a chance to play a full game kind of gets you comfortable with the bright lights and the big crowds and all that kind of stuff. And we had a little misplay on the push bunt early in the game that he should have gone after. But you got to, he's a freshman. You got to learn from those things. I was happy to see him get a base hit there and driving a run. I'm sure that'll do a lot for his confidence. But I think Bo's got a really good future. But you have to show belief in guys, and you have to run them out there. And Blake Jackson's been a good player for this school. Excuse me. We needed to get him back out there again. He hadn't played the last 2 days. And I told you already about Bakes, why we did that. So, yeah, was there more than 4? I think that was it, right? Huh? Yeah, in the starting lineup. Putting Iraqi back. Well, I wanted to give Jordan a game yesterday, and he played great. But, Naraki brings a physicality to the team. He crushed that home run today. I don't think Jordan's going to hit a lot of balls out of the ballpark. So, I had a little chat with Nolan yesterday and kind of got him, kind of rebooted, if you know what I'm saying. And I think he responded in a really great way today.
Kind of going off that, you've had a few different guys in the 2-hole now in your lineup. You start out with Kazmar, you've put Dalton in there, and Blake today, and maybe another guy. But What do you kind of look for in your ideal 2-hole hitter between the leadoff man and then obviously the heart of the order?
Well, if, in a perfect world, you like to have a guy that can handle the bat, hit and run, bunt, those kinds of things. But, there's also a theory just to stack your best hitters to get right in a line there and challenge the pitcher right out of the gate. And if the lineup turns over, now they got to face your best hitters. But Kaz was struggling in the 2-hole there, and I thought Mayshore did some good things, and obviously today Blake did some good things. So it's a little bit of a work in progress, Jack. I can't tell you exactly what we're going to do on Tuesday or beyond. Something for me to kind of put a lot of thought into.
Paul, I know you got Gardner Webb on Tuesday, but it is kind of starting rivalry week, Clemson week. I know you've heard all about it, but what is it like, or have you really had your chance to step foot into this rivalry and know what it's about?
Yeah, everywhere I go, it's amazing to me. I didn't have that kind of a rivalry when I coached at LSU. I mean, Tulane, to some degree, especially when they were really good, was a little bit like that. But, we just play a home and away midweek game. So 2 separate occasions. They were never back-to-back or a weekend series. And we had good rivals, in conference play, of course. But, man, when I go around town here, all everybody ever wants to talk about is you got to beat Clemson. I'm like, we're in the SEC, come on. it's it's the third weekend of the season, so there's a lot of, no matter what happens on the weekend, there's going to be a lot of baseball ahead of us. All of our goals will be firmly, whether we have a great weekend or a poor weekend, it's not going to define our season. There's still going to be a lot of games to play. But I don't ignore the fact that it's obviously some big games. And, look, I'm not looking beyond Gardner Webb. I have a lot of respect for them. Monty tells me they swing the bats really well. And, I want our players to approach Gardner Webb like we're playing Clemson on Tuesday, quite frankly. And that's exactly what I told them. I want to put some pressure on them to see how they handle it on Tuesday. It's a big game, and we're going to go out and play to win and, try to play as well as we can. And when that game's over, then, we'll head up north and be ready to take on the Tigers.
I know you have incredibly high expectations for whatever team you coach from a defensive standpoint, but so far you have to be really pleased, I would think, with how they've done. Are they meeting expectations kind of?
Yes, John, and I do. I have incredibly high expectations for defense because I have incredibly high expectations for pitching. And you can't expect your team to pitch well unless you play good defense behind them. And we work hard on it. And I think if you go back and listen to my introductory press conference, I talked about defense. And, it's kind of been a hallmark of most of the teams that I've coached throughout my career. It's something that I think is an important aspect of the game. And, if you look at yesterday, the first pitch of the game, the hitter for Milwaukee had a missile in the hole, and Kaz backhanded and threw the guy out. If he doesn't make that play, think of how different the inning develops. And, and it's not just one position, it's every position.